say that life's about balance, baby, and the balance is in my account now. Okay, she got a Perkin and Burke, I got a twerking and turf. She probably let both of us hit, the way that she smirking at dirt. She getting cake on the picture she take, I say, girl, if it worked, then it worked.
The Lifestyle Balance Podcast.
Welcome everyone, episode 23, the Lifestyle Balance Podcast. I'm your host, Alex. Really excited to be back another time. And today we got a special guest, another woman guest, which is awesome. We haven't had many of those, so we appreciate that.
Of course.
Mama Swag,
Yeah,
Tina.
that's what they call me.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
So let's get into a little bit, like we always do, a background about yourself,
Sure.
who you are.
Well, my name's Tina Cole, professionally known as Mama Swag. It's a brand that's been following me around for a long time.
Awesome.
I'm in my 6th decade of life. I won't tell you where exactly in that decade, but I'm definitely in it.
It's okay.
And pretty much an entrepreneur my entire life.
Awesome.
I think I remember being an employee for about 6 months, and then,
Wow.
yeah, this is not going to work for me. And I've been self-employed since. So I've been an entrepreneuring woman my entire life.
Good for you.
And then in 2012, and I've been involved in a number of industries with, a family focus on a particular industry, but I've been involved in several. And then in 2011, I kind of got thrown into the music industry by pure fluke.
Wow.
And it's one of those industries that just kind of gets under your skin, and I've been in it ever since.
Wow.
And what's very interesting about it is that
We haven't had many.
definitely in pre-music have been instrumental in being able and allowing me to be able to fold into the music industry, not the music hobby, the music industry.
Very different.
And I think that's really critical and important because my mission is about teaching the business of the business. Because if you want to make money at it, you have to know how to do that.
Yeah.
And you can make money making chairs, you can make money selling goods, or you can make money writing songs.
Yeah.
The principle of business and making money is the same.
Yeah.
The only thing that's changing is the product, right, or the consumer that you're marketing to. So I've kind of come full circle where I've worked really hard doing the things I've had to do. Now in this last sector of my life, I get to do the things I love to do.
Awesome.
And that's really a blessing. So
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. There's definitely a big difference between the two.
Oh yeah. big difference. Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, so let's get into a little bit how that change happened for you, how you felt about it when you all of a sudden went into the music industry.
I'm gonna give you real high, Coles Notes versions of it. No pun intended with my name, but the point is, because I'm far from Coles Notes when I get going. But my son was actually discovered, and his father and I became his executive producers.
Cool.
I.e., we funded the project,
Yeah.
and I just kind of got thrown into it because suddenly, as executive producers of a music project. I found myself in a position going, oh my goodness, I have a lot to learn. Not from a business perspective, but I had a lot to learn in terms of the differences in this industry that I had to adapt to. So I kind of, I say I got thrown into it because I actually did.
Yeah.
But in retrospect, now that I've been in it almost 15 years, it's where I belong. And I know that.
Yeah.
I know that
You found your way
because,
through it.
I had to segue my way here, but now that I'm here, and I've always been very connected to young people.
Cool.
I've always had a very deep connection to young people, and I'm around them all the time.
Yeah.
And so I'm become a mentor, a coach, a mama, in a nurturing way, because I see value in youth. And I remember
Cool.
I was young once, and
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything to do when you have a dream. Age has no bearing on anything.
I 100% agree.
And I was blessed. I had some really great mentors in my life. And so I've been very successful because I've worked hard and I've learned fast and I've learned lessons, some of them good, some of them not so good. And so I want to be there in that same capacity.
Okay.
Especially in an industry where young people that are trying to create commerce through something they love called music really need that kind of guidance, big time.
For sure. It's true. It's not an easy industry to.
No, it's definitely not for the weak at heart. I can tell you that much for sure.
It's very true. That's why I'm really interested to hear more about how you went through this industry, because I myself am a bit of a musician.
Oh wow,
More
very
on
cool.
the hobby side, but I've been playing drums and percussional instruments since I was very young at age. And you know, a lot of people tell me, not in a gloating way, but that I have good talent and so forth, but you know, sometimes yourself, you don't see that confidence in you for it, and you don't push for it because you don't see that, even though people around you are saying differently, right?
Well, being a good musician is definitely, you know, it's a pocket in our industry that requires talent. There's no
For sure,
doubt.
for
But there's
sure.
all different elements. There's all different types of opportunities in the music industry. It's a matter of deciding which way you want to go,
Yeah.
and then you have to build a plan, because
Yes.
every little element in the business got so many little moving parts. Even in an artist, for example, like
Yeah.
you know, everyone just thinks it's the artist who writes a song, they release it, and voila. No, there's a lot
of behind the
moving
scenes.
parts and a lot of behind the scenes people involved, and oftentimes the artist is the ribbon on the box.
Yeah.
But it's what's in the box that is instrumental and can be crucial in success in this business, you know. And I don't think that the industry in general, of course, we always just see the final destination. So when someone makes it to A-list and they're like international superstars, you think, oh my God, you know.
Yeah.
The problem with that is it creates false perception
For sure.
for a lot of people,
Yeah.
in that you start here and look at where you get,
Yeah.
and they think that this is an overnight process,
Yeah.
and it's not,
No.
you know, and it really is not. And I remember I had the blessing of being with the great Quincy Jones
Wow.
for dinner one evening, and with my mentor and coach, Mr. Ernie Singleton, and he gave me a carte blanche, 10 minutes, ask whatever you want. And so I did. I'm not shy, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And so I did, and I said to him, I said, Mr. Jones, you know, I'd like your opinion on a number of things. And I asked him, and the one that I will share with you here, because it's related, is what's your opinion about this overnight success syndrome sort of philosophy that lives amongst young creative artists that, you know, are just starting out.
Yeah.
And he looked at me and he goes, baby, because everybody's baby in LA. You can't call me baby. He goes, you bring me a 10-year overnight success and you might get my attention. Took me a minute to
fully understand it.
really, what the hell is he talking about? 10-year
10
overnight
year.
success, and I finally got it.
Yeah.
There's no such thing,
Yeah.
you know.
It's impossible.
Even when you think it was an overnight success, if you really analyze it, it really wasn't. I use Justin Bieber a lot, because everyone just thinks he went from being nothing to being something, and I said,
Yeah.
no, you're wrong.
Yeah.
You're absolutely wrong. You know, when you were 6 years old, you were out in the courtyard throwing hoops. When he was 6 years old, he had a guitar case open and he was busking
Yeah.
in front of the local churches and community centers to,
Up north.
you know, wherever. You know, he started very, very young, and we won't get into when Scooter Braun got out to the picture, and it was 2-3 years of that. So let me go back. Justin Bieber, you know,
apologies.
really didn't, you know, have the overnight success. Now,
Yeah.
did he have 3-4 years of it? Yeah.
For sure.
5 maybe.
For sure.
I remember watching when my son and I were actually flying down to Las Vegas when he got discovered. Of all the movies to be on the plane, you know, you want to watch the movie? Of all the movies to be on the plane, it was Never Say Never, which
Oh,
is
yeah.
the movie about his life story. And I
Yeah.
thought how apropos
Wow.
that film is actually playing on the airplane as we're making our way down to the West Coast for you to start your music career. And
Cool.
you know, if you ever watch that, you get the true story of his life. And
It's crazy.
yeah, and I love his song Lonely, because
Yeah.
if you really dissect the lyrics, it speaks to the lonely life of a A-list superstar.
Wow.
It's not at all what people think it is.
Yeah.
Not at all. But yeah, that's basically, and I just I keep finding these pockets of needs, you know, and I'm a need solution oriented person. So for me, I remember Warren Buffett, I love his books and I read all of them from a business perspective. And because I think he was doing an interview once and he got asked, you know, how do you come up with all these great profitable business ideas, you know? And his answer was brilliant, because it was just simple. He goes, I don't come up with business ideas. I come up with problems and then I find solutions. And those
There you go.
solutions become my businesses. And I'm going, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me, logical sense.
Yeah.
And so I identified a real need, and listen, the journey that we had in the music industry, it wasn't fun. There was a lot
I'm sure.
of good, bad,
Yeah.
and ugly.
Very well rounded.
Trust me.
Yeah.
Like, I won't get into it here, but
Yeah.
trust me. And so when I got back to Canada, my son was down there for a minute, but I would go back and forth. Near the end of it all, when some of the ugly came out of the woodwork, when my son had to take a bit of a hiatus from the industry for personal reasons,
Yeah.
I started to think, oh my heavens.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I got to get back to Canada. I got to make sure I get back up there and educate other aspiring artists and their families
Yeah.
of the perils of this industry so that they don't fall into the same, pits or hit the same brick walls that we did.
Like a
It was
lesson.
all, exactly.
Yeah.
Hard lesson learned.
For sure.
But again, as my son and I were discussing not too long ago, lessons that I think I needed to learn.
Yep.
Financially, it hurt, but
For sure,
But I
yeah.
learned, and that's why I'm able to pass on some of what I did learn the hard way on. Now,
Wow.
the interesting thing is, I thought and I hate to use this word in lieu of what the world's just come out of, but I thought it was a pandemic exclusive to Canada.
Yeah.
Well, it's not. It's a pandemic that exists
everyone.
around the world. Because
Yeah.
I mentor and coach artists all over the world. Europe,
Wow.
Australia, South America,
Wow.
Africa, the United States, Canada, across. Like, the only places I haven't touched yet, quite frankly, is the Northwest Territories, Alaska, and the Yukon. And
Yeah.
that's the truth. And Iceland.
Wow.
But other than that,
Wow.
and maybe Russia. But other than
Wow.
that, I have been
That's cool.
in touch with. I haven't worked with them all, but I've had artists reach out to me.
For sure.
And the one common denominator is the true lack of understanding of the business. It's, and I'm sure we'll get into it later, but I'll explain, why it's more important now than ever before.
Okay.
To really understand the business aspect of this industry.
Yeah. For sure. And to get into a little bit of that, when you say you deal with with people reaching out to you from all over the world, do you find that they have a different mentality about the music
Yeah.
industry?
Yeah.
They have a different take on it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's little nuances and
Yeah.
differences from country
Yeah.
to country. There's no doubt. A lot of it impacted by the style of music that the country's known for, or their political platforms, their
Yeah.
religious
Yeah.
beliefs. They have all those little, sort of idiosyncrasies that make them all different. But the one underlying common thread amongst all of them is that they really have a false perception.
Wow.
They really think it's like, oh, look at me, I'm so pretty, and I can sing, and I'm going to get discovered, and it's going to be happily ever after. And
Yeah.
that's not how it works anymore. In fact, it never really did work that way.
Yeah.
That is the power of media.
Yeah.
And what we see is where it begins and where they end. The biggest weak link we have in the business, and I think this applies to every industry.
Okay.
If you really think about it, we see the beginning and we see the end, but no one studies the journey. And it's the journey, that really matters.
Yeah.
And once you understand the journey,
Yeah.
the start line and the finish line become much more clear.
Yeah.
But when you don't study the journey, and I get asked all the time, no one calls me Tina, everybody. I got more kids around the world than I ever thought I'd have, because everybody calls me Mama.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why my name is Mama Swag, but they just come to me, oh, can you help me? And I will say, of course, I will try.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, just so you know, a lot of what I do is in kind. And they'll ask me, well, how much? You can't afford me. Just trust me on that one. But I am willing to give you some of my time and help you direct your plan.
Yeah.
And the reason I do a lot in kind is because I know what my worth is.
For sure.
And if I start taking money from the young artists for me,
Yeah.
what will they have left to do what they need to do with their music?
Yeah. If they're just starting.
Yeah,
too,
and they're just starting, So, the reality is, you can't come to me and ask, I like painting pictures, analogies are really helpful
For sure.
to make things clear.
Visual. of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Visual always helps.
Yeah.
And so I say, look, I can draw you a map, but I can't draw you a map to France when your ultimate destination is Africa. Like, that's
Yeah.
a totally different
Yeah.
map.
Yeah.
So in order for me to help you draw that map with your pit stops in between, I need to know what's your goal. And a lot of them don't even know what a goal is. I'll get this kind of answer. Well, I just want to be an international famous recording artist. That doesn't tell me anything. It just tells me that you want to obviously tour globally and you want to do it with music.
Yeah.
But how do you put together a plan
Yeah.
for goals that are so vague? Goals have to be attainable and measurable.
Yeah.
Otherwise, to me, a goal without a plan is just a wish.
Yeah, I agree.
And oftentimes, and oftentimes when you don't have a good, strong plan, you find yourself going in circles and really never getting to the destination. So, and I think that holds true in any industry,
Yeah,
whether you're selling songs or
for sure.
selling chairs. At the end
Yeah.
of the day, it doesn't change.
No, the goal has to be attainable, like you said.
It's called a plan.
Yeah.
It's called strategic.
Yeah.
It's the same in the music industry. In fact, it's such a complex industry
That's, yeah.
with so many moving parts
Yeah.
that it's impossible to learn it all and be ready. A lot of what you're going to learn is through trial and error and
For sure.
mistakes. and-
Mistakes, you have to.
yeah.
Yeah.
And part of being a good entrepreneur is being able, like, you don't get a chance to come back to the table and do a ton of research as to what you need to change. If you've released a track and it's not doing as well as you had hoped, you don't have time. You have to be quick on your feet, and you have to go, okay, back to the drawing board. What do we
Next.
need to change? What's
Yeah.
what, like, we have to adjust our approach here because it's not doing what we want it to do. And sometimes you have to make those decisions in a matter of days because you don't have weeks and weeks to make those decisions.
Wow.
The life cycle of a single is anywhere from 8 to 12 weeks.
Okay.
So if you don't hit in that time period,
Wow.
yeah, the flame starts to dwindle.
Yeah. See, and I don't think a lot of people can understand
No,
the
they don't.
process behind that.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
And it's okay
For sure.
because we don't do enough of the teaching
The knowledge
that's required.
behind it, yeah. Yeah.
We just don't have, and it's something I'm lobbying for through a number of vehicles that I have access to, but they have been asked several times, Tina, what do you think the missing piece is? I said, I don't think, I know the missing piece is the commercial bridge. We are excited about having a Canadian talent that can write a song and can sing it properly.
Yeah.
But we haven't taught them how to cross the bridge to get to commercial success.
Yeah. Yeah.
We haven't. I have a couple of taglines. One of them is, my goal is to transition young artists from the hobby state of mind to the industry state of mind. And that is a real shift. It's a shift from being a dreamer to a strategic thinker and doer. And yeah, that's not always an easy journey, but
No.
it's a journey that I've had to sometimes with some artists go, oh, okay, let's try this again. Now, remember what I told you last time, and it's a process.
Yeah.
It's no different than when you go to school and you have to write a calculus exam and
Yeah.
you blow it.
Yeah.
The teacher's going to give you a couple more opportunities to go back to the table and rewrite it, right? Now change calculus to music, and it's really not a different process.
Yeah.
We just
Yeah.
think it is
Yeah.
because of what we see
Yeah.
in the media.
For
And
sure.
they don't show us those learning curves.
For sure. For sure. I want to ask you an interesting question. I think a lot of people perceive music in a different way, not in a more of a negative way. I'm sure you've heard the saying of like people saying like, oh, like there's no future in music. Oh, there's no business behind it. Like it's just talent, strictly.
Can I
talent.
answer that question real simple?
Yeah.
I dare you to ask Drake that question.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
That's all I'm going to say to that.
Okay.
There's definitely a commercial, opportunities in music.
Yeah.
It all boils down to defining what you think success is.
Exactly.
Drake is one of the wealthiest men in the country,
Yeah.
and he made a lot of that music through music, and a lot of that money rather through music, and then with that he was able to branch out into other things
Businesses.
like restaurants.
Yeah.
And now he's in partnership with Live Nation with History,
Yeah.
the venue called History. I mean, there's so many other things that he's been able to get involved with because of his notoriety and the success he's had with music. I think the biggest caveat to failure in this industry is not having a defined goal. He was very clear with what he wanted.
Yeah, anyone
from
after.
jump.
Yeah.
He had to detour to get there.
Exactly.
Degrassi High.
Degrassi High,
right?
yeah.
But eventually he got there.
Yeah.
And when you're going into something blind,
Yeah.
you know, another question that I ask in some of my mentoring, you know, consulting, whatever you want to call it, coaching hours that I give so willingly is, okay, you want success.
Yeah.
I need your definition. If I were to ask you, how much money do you want to make in a year, when all you have to do is get up every morning and do what you love to do, you need to tell me what that number is.
Yeah.
Is it 100,000 a year? Is it $500,000 a year? Is it 20 million a year?
Yeah.
Because each one of those goals have a different map.
Yeah, they
And
do.
each one of those goals require a different plan and a different budget and a
Yeah.
different resource and a different team. Like,
For sure.
and that's part of the problem when you go into it blind. You know, you have the blind leading the blind, and that's not good. You know, Jose Feliciano was actually blind. So was Stevie Wonder
Yeah.
and Ray Charles.
Yeah.
And the metaphor of blind has nothing to do with sight.
No.
It has to do with the blindness here,
Yeah.
and that you block out.
The negative.
Well, you exactly, and all you look at is the positive, and that's another really. Thank you for that, you know, Alex. Another great way to look at, you know, not studying the journey. Everyone just looks at the start line and the finish line,
Yeah.
you know, and
They got to fall in love with the process.
because the process is really hard to fall in love with.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of punches and left hooks that
For sure.
will come at you.
For sure.
I know, and I love sharing this a lot. Although I wasn't a part of it, I've heard it being talked about several times with my colleagues, both
Cool.
here in Toronto, Los
Cool.
Angeles. I'm blessed to have really strong relationships and networks in both cities, amongst other cities. But
Yeah.
you know, Lady Gaga was discovered here in Toronto, and
Wow.
she will.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah.
Huh.
She was in a club here in Toronto, as it has been recounted to me. I just want to preface that. But
Yeah.
regardless, and she said it several times, and many of you, if she ever listened to every person who ever told her she was never going to make it, or she was too ugly to make it, or she was not talented enough to make it,
Yeah.
it's called, and I refer to it as psychotic persistence. Like, you have to be psycho, like literally, like so psycho to break through the barriers of. And I don't mean that in a nasty way.
No,
Like, you just
no.
have to have no peripheral vision.
Yeah, exactly.
In the sense that, you know, you're focused strictly
Mm-hmm.
on the goal. And no matter what gets in your way, even if you
still
trip
go.
over something, you get back up, you dust off your knees, and you keep going.
Yeah.
You keep going.
Yeah.
You keep going. Because there will be more no's than yeses. I
Mm-hmm.
promise you that in this business. But it takes one song that
Yeah.
gets one yes that breaks you. And then the rest is still a lot of work.
Yeah.
And still a lot of strategic moving.
Yeah.
And, you know, maneuvering and stuff. But once that window of opportunity has been broken open, then I'm not going to say it's going to be easier.
No,
It's
no.
just going to be an easier flow to
Yeah.
go through,
Yeah.
you know?
Better stance to be in, for sure. So what from your experience in past, what is that one song that you've dealt with that you thought that took you to that next level with somebody?
Well, I'm not a singer, so.
No, yeah.
You mean in terms of artists that I've
Yes,
worked with?
the artists.
Okay, well, I'm blessed to be working with a beautiful young lady right now. She's actually a proof of concept to me, and I'll
Cool.
explain what that is down the road. But her name is Nina Rose.
Nina Rose,
Going to
yes.
use to give this a little bit of a plug,
Yes.
right? And I've been working with her since she was 12,
Wow.
and she just turned 21.
Wow.
It's been a long time coming.
Yes, I've heard of her music, I think, before.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, very cool.
yeah.
Okay. So she wrote a song through COVID that, you know, sort of helped her deal with the mental health that she and the rest of the world was going through, being
For sure.
claustrophobic, stuck in rooms, not being able to do anything.
Yes.
And it was a song called War Zone.
Yes.
Okay.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, really good song.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, it is a brilliant song.
Yeah.
But I'm a planner. I like to have strategic
For sure.
plans, you know.
For sure.
And we released that against my better judgment because
Wow.
I don't like releasing anything without a plan.
For sure.
But as an artist, she just had a gut feel.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes you have to trust your artist and her or his gut feel.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, I'm not a Gen Z or millennial.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm right about above World War II. Oh God, that makes me super old. But the point is, I mean, you know, I said, okay, Nee, I mean, I'm not a fan of what we're doing, but
Okay.
I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Let's go for it.
Give it a chance.
Right? Let's do it.
Yeah.
And that song hit 1 million streams in 48 hours.
Yeah.
And it's still
Wow.
growing, and with absolutely no promotion. Although that is not the answer. Don't anybody get the wrong idea. Don't everyone think that this is
You
an
need it.
anomaly. It is not
Yeah.
the way it typically happens.
Yeah. Wow.
She's sitting at about 9 million streams with that
Yeah.
one song.
I bet.
And I had every major record label you could possibly think of
Wow.
kicking at our tires.
Wow.
And some really great things happening for her as we speak.
Good
So
to
there's
hear.
some big, just stay tuned. There's going to be some big announcements coming up before the end of this year.
Cool.
Yeah, but
Exciting.
it's been 9 years in the making.
Really?
Yeah, 9
Wow.
years. Well, do the math.
Yeah.
From 12 to 23.
Wow.
Or sorry, from 12 to 21.
That's crazy. So
Yeah.
not a lot of people would know that.
No,
right?
no.
Wow.
And I actually found her because when I came back from, remember when I told you earlier that I
Yes.
came back determined to really teach?
Yes.
I actually developed a program called the Music Quadrant.
Yes, I heard about this.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
the Music Quadrant is a 360 sort of academic approach to teaching the music business.
I like that. That's cool.
Yeah, and it's more of an internship sort of thing.
For
It's
sure.
not like going to university and
Yeah.
college. It's
Yeah, like a
almost like
program.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
a program that takes you to the streets. It's giving you your street smarts.
Cool.
Because you really need it in this business.
Cool.
And so,
Cool.
she kind of was a student, and
Wow.
I kind of in that program.
Nice.
And so she came, she listened, she learned, and she
Yeah.
started doing. So my proof of concept is that she came and she actually learned the business of the business, and then started to
Wow.
do it with me, guiding her and coaching her.
Yeah.
And then eventually I took over her management role.
Wow.
And here we are. We're still working together. So
Cool
it
process.
just proves that.
Yeah.
I took away the blinders of overnight success, and I
Yeah.
said, no way, honey. This is a lot of hard work. If you're willing to work hard, I'm willing to work with you.
Yeah.
But if you're not, I'm not interested.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a cool story. Cool
And it's
story.
a true story.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, it's funny you mentioned that. Like, I remember listening to Warzone recently going up north. I always play it. It's a good song.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, how cool. I'm
Yeah.
going to share that with her. She's going to be
Yeah.
so excited. It's super.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. I
No,
appreciate it.
honestly, of course. Like, when I see good music, I appreciate it more, especially, I think, from a bit of a music background playing along the years.
Yeah. Well, wait till you hear
It's
the
cool.
new music. It's solid.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Excited.
Yeah.
Cool, cool. So, what would you say, like, to go off that with her and anyone really, advice-wise, what's the biggest advice you can give a young artist?
Oh, wow. That's a loaded question.
I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah,
You can
because
take
it
that any
comes.
way you want.
Yeah, because it comes from so many different angles.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to keep it real because
Yeah.
I'm about keeping everything 100, And if you're coming into the music industry thinking that you can do this just because you can sing, yeah, because I can show you 1 million people who can sing. That's not what garners success. Like any business, it takes a plan, it takes a goal, it takes a focus, it takes a team, and it takes a budget. You can't do this with no money. You can't start any business with no
Yeah,
money.
no.
And, I try transitioning young artists to become their own CEOs. Because this is really a business that you are
It is.
starting. If you start making some serious coin in this business, it's
Yeah.
not chump change.
No.
And you have to know how to manage it and make sure you have a team in place that can manage it properly for you.
Yeah.
So do everything you can to educate yourself.
Yeah.
Go online, research, watch podcasts, network.
Yeah.
Because if you think you're just going to come out of the gate and become a superstar,
Yeah.
you're going to be extremely disappointed. And also, you need to really develop a strong character because this industry is filled with rejection.
Yeah.
And if you can't handle rejection, this is probably not a good industry for you. I'm being honest.
Plain and simple.
It's
Yeah.
like athletics. Like athletes. How many times do they get no before they actually get a draft to something, and they just
Yeah.
keep at it and keep
Yeah.
at it. The industry's also changed a lot over the last 10 to 15 years.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
the day of labels doing A&R, they don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Like, they just don't. They don't have to, thank you, social media. They just kind of troll through the
list,
platforms.
yeah.
And
They see who.
i.e. Warzone kind
Yeah,
of
look
blew
at
up
that.
her TikTok,
Yeah.
and that's, you know, how the algorithms,
Exactly.
they have very sophisticated software now at all the labels that
sure.
identify IP addresses where algorithms are going nuts, and or accounts that are going nuts, you know, and because they were able to come right to me, they were able to find me
Wow.
right away.
Like that.
Yeah. So it's not about A&R people coming to a club and watching you perform live, and then the rest is magical.
Yeah.
It's not like that.
Like back
And
in
it
the
actually
day.
never was.
Really?
No.
Wow. Wow. See, there's such a stereotype behind it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so my focus has always been about eradicating the misconception
For sure.
of what it takes
Yeah.
to make it in this business. So does that to say that it's never happened? No, of course not. Of course it has.
For sure.
But I'm not a person or businesswoman or person rather that has ever tried to build a business plan on an anomaly.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
a 1 in a million is
1 in a
not
million
how
chance.
you
A lottery.
build a plan. It's a
Yeah.
lottery.
Yeah.
You build a plan based on the probability of success and how you can get there. Once you've defined what that success is for year 1, 2, and 3. And then once you've reached those goals, now you can add the next tier of goals and you work towards that. I get asked all the time, Mama, how will I know I've arrived?
Yeah.
And my answer is really simple. You never arrive. And they go, what do you mean? I'm there. Well, because when you get to that level, in order to stay there, you got to hit another plateau.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, if that were the case, then Beyonce or Taylor Swift or, you know, whoever, why would they still be releasing music?
Yeah.
Why doesn't McDonald's still spend 2.5% of their gross revenue on advertising?
Yeah.
Why? Because getting to the top is hard.
Yeah.
Staying there is harder.
Exactly. I love that saying. It's true.
It's absolutely true. Whether you want to be in music or I don't care what industry you're in.
Any industry.
Success is hard work,
Yeah.
but maintaining your success is even harder.
For sure. Cool. And from your perspective, Tina, Mama Sway, when it comes to more the networking side of things with an artist or even yourself with other agents and so forth like that.
I'm not an agent, by the way.
No, sorry.
Yeah, okay. But that's really good, though.
More
I'm glad you said that
agents,
because a lot
yeah.
of people really confuse the roles in the industry.
So let's go into that first.
Yeah.
What is the difference between you and an agent?
Okay, an agent, depending, like most of the time, agents in our
Yes.
industry are like booking agents.
Yeah.
Okay, people
Yeah.
that get you gigs.
Getting
and,
you the concert and so forth.
as a music executive or manager, my job is to help put that team together.
Yeah.
So
The coaching behind it.
identifying the genre of music, the best areas, you know, researching and keeping on top of the analytics on our social medias to identify, you know, epicenters of where we have a good, strong following. Can we build a tour out of that? And if we can't, then let's build a couple of little tours. But, you know, obviously you have to make sure that the tours are logistical.
Yeah.
My job is really, as management or even a music executive that's coaching, is to be able to put all those moving parts together, i.e. a booking agent, a stylist, a videographer, a photographer, a radio promoter, a marketing team,
Producer
a
and all
website
that,
designer,
yeah.
a producer, co-writing teams,
Jeez.
songwriting opportunities, sync and licensing.
Yeah.
I mean, how many did I go through? I'm almost at 15. So these are all little moving possible parts that could add additional success and commerce to a brand, you know? Helping the artists, like Nina and I we have meetings every Tuesday.
Wow.
I don't treat this any different than when I was in corporate.
Wow.
Every Tuesday, without fail, for the last 9 years,
Wow.
we got on a call and we talk about what we're doing well. We're talking about what didn't work as well as we had hoped, what kind of changes we need to make. She checks in with me. She just checked with me early this morning about something she
Nice.
wanted to post, and we talked about it. I said, go for it. You know, so part of it comes from mentoring and guiding and making sure she's making the best business decisions that she can for her business, for her music business.
Yeah.
Now, the easy part of what I do is it's not my call
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
Exactly.
It's hers because it's
Yeah.
her business.
Yeah.
What's great about building a really strong relationship with your artist is that bond of trust.
For sure. Between each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
You need that.
I trust her and she trusts me.
yeah.
You know, and sometimes we have to trust each other and just bring it to a whole different level, you know? And I'm really comfortable with our relationship at that level. It's not easy,
No.
but that's no different than owning a business where you have to have a general manager and you have to have a manager
Yeah.
of sales and a manager
Yeah.
of accounting and finance.
The relationship
you
between
gotta
each other.
trust.
For sure.
You got to trust your core team.
For sure.
So my job is to make sure that I identify the team players and the ones that are achieving the goals we want from them, and then discard the ones that aren't, and find the ones to replace them.
Wow.
call me the human resource person.
Cool.
If you want to relate
Yeah,
it to something.
some sort
you
of
know.
position in the business world.
Yeah. So, so, and every role on the team has a different set of responsibilities.
For sure.
And then I collect all of the tasks and the achieved tasks that they've done, that we've asked them to do. Then I look at them and say, okay, is this unfold the way we wanted it to?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
where's the weak link?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, let's come back to the board table now
Yeah.
and let's make some changes.
Yeah.
So it's really like being the general manager of the team,
Cool.
you know, and
Cool.
and she trusts me to make sure that I make the best decisions possible. If I make mistakes, hell yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But
Only makes it stronger.
right,
then.
and it identifies the weak spots in your infrastructure
To work
that you
on.
need to
Yeah.
that you need to strengthen, right? Yeah.
100%.
You see how I'm talking, everything I'm saying is you relating to it because it's business.
It is. It
The only,
is.
the only thing that differs is the product
Yes.
and the characteristics and demographics of the customer base that you are servicing.
100%.
And that's really the only thing that changes.
Yeah.
So once you understand the 4 pillars of marketing, they don't change from industry to industry. They don't. They're just applied a little differently, but they're all the same.
It's so true. I think just people see the image of it and they perceive it to be a whole different influence, a whole
Yeah.
different way
Yeah.
of going about it. When
Yeah.
really, like you said, it's the same.
Yeah, it really is. And, you know, there's some pros and cons with the way the
Yeah.
industry has changed, and I
Yeah.
see the good and the bad in the changes.
Yeah.
But I think change is good. I think change is healthy. I think some of the changes that happen in the industry so far is actually giving more creative abilities and possibilities to independent artists.
Cool.
I have my opinion about the role of labels and when they play a big role and an important role. I am a firm believer that at some point in somebody's career, you need to get into bed with either a major record label or major deep pockets.
Got it.
Because it's no secret. This is not a cheap industry.
It's
Oh,
not.
I don't have to say anything. Just look it up online. Ask this
Yeah.
question. What is the average amount that a record label has invested in breaking a pop artist? And you will see numbers anywhere from $500,000 to $2 million.
Yeah.
USD, by the way.
Yeah.
And so
Lot
that's
more
no
here.
secret. I don't make those numbers up.
Yeah.
They're all online.
Yeah.
You know, I've been called everything from the Grim Reaper to the Dream Crusher and everything in between. But I'm just the messenger, man.
It's the reality at the end of the day.
No, I'm not even that. I'm just the messenger. These are the rules that have been in play for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm just, you know, come up as this new sort of brand in my own right that is willing to share and teach what's always been. I didn't make this stuff up. It's always been this way. There's been some changes, like how you fold in the whole social media aspect, and
Yeah.
you know, we're consuming music differently now. Now it's
Yeah.
called a digital streaming platform.
Yeah.
Before it used to be called an LP, a CD, a 8-track, a
keep
45, or
changing. Yeah.
it was a physical product. Now it's all digital.
NFT.
And you know, there's all kinds of stuff going. Now we have the challenge of artificial intelligence coming at us soon. So
Exactly.
you know, and it's understanding once you understand the industry, you understand how you can fold some of these novelties into it.
Yeah.
But if you don't understand the industry, then you're not going to be able to fold the novelties into it. You know,
For sure.
it can be pretty scary.
Yeah, it can be. Can be. It's true. And so, kind of to go back to my last point, I wanted to get your perspective on is how does the networking work behind the scenes? Like, how important do you think it is?
Oh, it's
between-
extremely important.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I have some really great relationships that I actually met during my son's project.
Wow.
Some pretty influential names, I might add.
Wow.
And I have continuously, without fail, every year, continued to nurture those relationships, work
Awesome.
with them.
Yeah.
Never forget birthdays, never forget to wish them happy,
Wow.
Merry Christmas, Happy
Yeah.
Anniversary, their kids. I mean, it's important staying in touch,
It is.
finding opportunities, and if I think it's a good fit, I'll send them a message,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it's not because I'm asking for anything or
No.
wanting anything in return. Networking and building relationships and what I call, you know, beefing up your Rolodex
Yeah.
comes with an incredible amount of energy.
Yeah.
But you can never come across as a fake because this industry,
Yeah.
no.
No.
If you come across as a fake, it won't take long for you to be completely
They'll notice right away.
Oh yeah, like don't bother talking to her. She doesn't know what to. She keeps saying stuff, but nothing ever happens. So
Word
don't
goes
waste your
around.
time. It's a big industry, but it's not. It's a small industry, and word gets around really quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, networking is important.
Mm-hmm.
As an artist, even as from me being coach, mentor, manager, music business person, and I have to build that level of Rolodex connections. And an artist comes from, meeting with people like yourself, for example. If you're a musician, you're a drummer. Oh, you know what? I remember that guy. I'm going to call him. Maybe he can put a band together. Or a producer. Oh, let me see if maybe what kind of music he produces. If we can maybe just try a couple of sessions, see what kind of magic we can create. Or oh, that person's a lyricist. Maybe we should get together and see what we can cut. In terms of, you never, ever kick a horse in the mouth.
No.
You always find a way to feed it.
Yes.
Always. And,
Exactly.
And if there isn't one, that's okay.
Yeah.
There's also that element of, you can't beat a dead horse.
Yeah. Yeah.
You either have it or you don't. And if it doesn't work, okay, shut that one down. Next. You got to keep moving in this business.
Yeah. You can't cut anyone out. You never know in the future what could happen.
Absolutely.
Right? It's true. It's a good way to put it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people in business see it differently, so it's cool to see in the music industry.
It's the same.
Yeah.
It's absolutely the same.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. So one of our main questions we got to ask you, Mama Swag, is
How do I know what's coming? I have a feeling I know
think
what's coming.
you know what's coming.
Probably.
The balance, the lifestyle balance.
Oh, here we go.
How do you find in your lifestyle that you balance it all?
That's a really great question, actually. And I struggled with balance, work-life balance, a lot in my life. Some people would call me a workaholic, and I actually think I am.
Yeah.
And I was looking for that solution, and I've been searching for that solution probably for the first 4 decades of my life.
Wow.
Until I finally came to the realization that there is no out-of-the-box solution.
No.
We are uniquely different from each other by DNA. It is what it is. There isn't one human on this planet that has the exact same DNA. So how can we possibly have the exact same formula for a lifestyle balance? You can't. What I've learned to do is customize it for me.
Cool.
And there's been times where I've tried, okay, Tina, it's like after 6, that's enough now, okay? And then you start to get fidgety and you start to go, oh my God, and then you start getting stressed. And I'm going, oh my God, this is more stressful than I'm working,
Yeah.
So part of it is recognizing who you are and what you need in life. And being able to balance it comes with, I work with a great trainer. His name is Raymond Lambert, and he's from Linebackers Personal Training, and I love him because he does so much more than just work me physically. He works me mentally and emotionally and psychologically, and understanding that there's some days where I'm really solid in my workouts, and then there's some days that I'm not. And I think that from that, and it's okay. It's the acceptance part that people have issues with.
Yeah.
Like if I am comfortable working 9 hours a day, and I'm at a point in my life that I can afford to give 9, 10, 12 hours a day to my work life. I'm not a TV watcher, never have been. I'm a person who loves to learn. So if I'm not doing what I need to do for my business, I am finding new business opportunities, or I am reading books, or I'm online searching things. I think that once you've come, and it's taken me, like I said, 4 decades to get there.
Wow.
And when I finally said, okay, so there is no answer to this question. The answer is a really simple one. It's different for all of us.
Yep.
There are days that or weeks that I go working 20 hours a day.
Wow.
And then there are weeks that I'm okay with 5 hours a day.
Yeah.
I just don't beat myself up about it, no matter what side of the spectrum I'm on. And so then I'm accepting of who I am, instead of trying to fit myself in. I sometimes feel like society forces you to try to, fit a round circle into a square peg.
Yeah.
And that's really tough.
Yeah.
I just said, that shit. I don't bother. I just no.
Yeah.
This is who I am.
Exactly.
And the peg or hole that I'm going to fit into today is where my mentality is taking me.
Yeah.
And so I don't get hung up about it anymore.
Yeah.
People ask me all the time, because I'm in my 6th decade, right? They'll go, when are you going to slow down, Mama Swag or Tina? Slow down. Oh my God, I still have so much to achieve. And there's plenty of time to slow down when I'm dead. I can sleep for all eternity. For as long as God blesses me with the mental, physical, and psychological ability to contribute to whatever it is I'm doing, then I'm going to keep doing that.
Awesome.
And that makes me happy. It balances my life.
Yeah.
And
Keeps
I've
you going.
accepted, I've accepted the good, the bad, and the ugly of me. And I'm okay with that. And so I think when you get, if I could say anything to any young person today, if I could go back to the 20-year-old Tina and say anything to her to make that first 4-decade journey a little easier, is don't sweat it. Don't sweat the small stuff. Like, really don't. And don't try to conform. Don't try to fit in. Just be. And when you have really wrapped your head around that and understand that you came in alone, you're going out alone, then who cares what anybody thinks?
Exactly. You
At the end of the day, no.
Yeah.
The only people that I really hold true to my heart, of course, is my husband and my son, who are my life. My extended family, like my parents and my siblings and their families, and my very close friends and business associates. I'm always making sure that their needs, that wherever I'm needed within those needs,
wherever you can
I'm
help.
available to them. But I have learned, and maybe some might say the long way, after 4 decades, is that it's okay to be there for whoever you can, but it's not okay to be there and compromise self. Like, because that'll only end up being making you miserable and, building in resent into your aura. And who the heck wants to live like that?
Yeah.
Like, I don't, that's for sure.
It's true.
Sorry, I swore.
No,
I shouldn't have done that.
It's all good. We do it.
Sorry.
No worries. No worries. That's awesome. Well, we appreciate you coming out.
It's been fun. Thank you for
really good
having
talk.
me.
Yeah.
It's been good.
Really different perspective that we never got to have. So we really appreciate that. It was awesome.
It was
Learned a lot.
It's interesting, and I love working with youth. And I want to congratulate both you and Nick. This is an incredible
Thank you.
platform.
Appreciate it.
I wish more people would take initiative and do stuff like this.
Thank you.
Yeah, and if you ever want to have me back to do some
100%.
music business
We'll do
stuff,
a year for
I
sure.
would be happy to do that.
Anytime.
Absolutely. And maybe we can get some artists
For
to
sure.
tune in. Like, I could be like, Jesus at the River Jordan, right? Like, one piece of fish, one podcast feeding many that are watching. And
That'd be
that would
awesome.
make my life a lot easier, but
Yeah.
also give me a sense of accomplishment, because I know that I'm getting this message across,
For sure.
to many
Yeah.
that are, and the need is there, I can assure you.
It is. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks
Appreciate
for
it.
having me. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Great.
Say that life's about balance, baby, and the balance is in my account now. Okay, she got a perkin' and perk. I got a twerking and turk. She probably let both of us hit. The way that she smirking at dirt. She getting cake on the picture she take. I say, girl, if it worked, then it worked.
The Lifestyle Balance Podcast.